Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Amy Harkins and I work with Bridging Apps, which is a program of Easter Seals of Greater Houston that helps people with disabilities leverage the power of smart technologies to help them live fuller lives. I am a psychologist by training and I helped individuals and families cope with the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. And we would like to share some ideas about making sure that we take care of the people with disabilities in our communities during a large-scale disaster. One of the ideas that came to mind is that many communities keep a registry of people with disabilities who may need assistance after a disaster. It's very important that you would consider adding a field to collect information about who that person would like to be contacted in case of an emergency, and maybe even think about who could communicate for them if they're not able to do that independently. So also it's really important to communicate to our communities how much that registry can do and what actions may take place as a result of being on that kind of registry. So does it translate into being rescued in the middle of an emergency or not? Is that part of what we're capable of doing or not? But we need to communicate that very clearly to our communities. Another thought is to think about the layers of loss. In the immediate aftermath of a disaster, we need to think about what kind of assistive technologies people need to get their hands back on, like their asthma inhaler, their eyeglasses, perhaps even a wheelchair or a piece of technology that allows them to communicate. Each of these devices needs to be replaced as quickly as possible. How can we facilitate that? I'd also like us to think about how creativity plays a part in disaster response. Creativity is one of those things that helps us think outside the box. When we're in the middle of a tragedy, people can come up with ideas that had never been considered before. We need to be open to that and run with those ideas as they come up. Also, we thought about the emotional impact of allowing people to tell their stories, and there were some children who came up with an app that allowed them to collect stories through the app about how people dealt with the hurricane, what their escape process was like, what the repair and rebuild process was like for each of them. Being able to tell your story and have an audience in a creative way is really very healing.